Welcome everybody back to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is God of High School, episode 4. What happened last time?
Last time, Jin Mori rolled in at the last second, basically knocked over the guy he was supposed to fight instantly, zero effort, and then a giant, crazy clown thing showed up, and all the other people in charge had to restrain him, and it was a whole big thing. Don't know 100% what's going on there, but we're really excited to find out.
There seems to be some Charyeok going on around here. I'm pretty sure that's what they're talking about. Apparently, I didn't know it extended to stands. I thought that there was some sort of... There's obviously some supernatural power. The open of the series was fucking Park Mujin fucking crushing that island full of shitheads. And but that's all we've really seen of it. Everything else has been relatively tame. Or at least insane, but not clown demons showing up. So
yeah,
was not expecting stand users in this, but there you go. Hope you guys like the video. Hope you check out our previous God of High School reactions, and hope you subscribe. It really helps us out when you guys subscribe if you like our videos, and leave a like on the video. It really helps us out. And we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/boldcast. That's in the description. You can get early on all our other shows. We got a backup channel, Teespring, and Instagram. All the links in the description. We're going to get right into this reaction to God of High School. This is not a market substitute. Please go watch on Crunchyroll. We're watching on Crunchyroll. This is not a substitute for the actual release of the show. We're required to say that because we're not trying to provide a free copy. We are providing our reaction, and the reference footage included is to guide and give context to our reaction and inform our review, or the audience, of what we're talking about in our review. It's not meant to steal traffic or revenue from the original series, so we encourage everybody to go and check out God of High School and Crunchyroll as a service, and Webtoon, and go support the official release. But we're going to get right into this. God of High School, episode 4. Anything else you want to say before we get going?
Nope.
Let's go. Whoa. I thought it said boomer nurse for a second there. What? 7.3 billion? I guess this is slightly in the future, so maybe there's just more people. But that's still fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Unless everyone just loves this.
Jujitsu. I knew... Oh, I think I called that he was using Jujitsu. That was the guy with the yellow hoodie I was talking about. An English-speaking person?
Is this gonna be a kidnapping?
But they said there the is. Oh, he's attracted to her. Oh, God. Here we go. It's just literally everybody proposing to her. Oh shit, she's actually doing it? What the fuck? I was not expecting her to say yes. What? I didn't know he was that big of a deal. Holy shit.
She's actually gonna marry him?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What?
Oh.
For the money. That's a pretty serious offer. And he's a martial artist too. It seems pretty legit. Oh, but he's just not as good.
Oh, so everyone just quit.
Yeah, because he wasn't that good at the style. That's fucking rough. 継承者は私なんだから。大事なのか。結婚権 Yeah, she's losing the point of all this. She just marries and gets the funding, then it's not gonna fucking help anything.
If she wins...
Yeah,
then...
if she wins, that's really gonna help.
Yeah.
Or if she just goes far and proves that it's a good style. That's gonna do way more than just having access to money. Like, you're on a stage in front of the entire fucking world. Like, 7.3 billion people are watching. Already? Holy shit! What's it been, a week?
Jesus.
She looks good, though. Goddamn. Pulling back the air to get that cauliflower ear in there. Is she washing geese? I think that's what she was doing. He knows she's lying to herself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does he get out of this? Is it just a cool partner? Like a trophy wife type thing? Is that what he wants? Like, what is his deal?
A child trophy wife? Like, yeah.
But, like, she's a world-famous martial artist now, I guess, after a couple matches. She's like an heiress to this forgotten style of swordsmanship. Okay, she's clearly not gonna go through with this. Because this is just so weird. She didn't realize that it wasn't for fun.
Yeah. She was all, like, hyped up about it.
Is he gonna crash the wedding? I'll be your contradiction. Bam! Oh shit, actually. Oh shit.
What is that?
Taser? A baton.
Why is it dark? Oh. I was like, this was
also
already kind
seeing
of...
the bride before the wedding, what the fuck? You obviously know this is gonna go poorly for you. And what is this reception stage? Like, he's standing in the middle? Oh!
Oh
a sword?
my god.
Wait, we have to look back at that. A sword that can draw out
a holy
God?
sword that can rule God himself.
And somebody who can wield it.
And hand that... Oh my god. This better not happen.
So he's a member of the fucking Charyeok cult.
Other guy showed up. Nice.
Oh, he came dressed up too.
Oh, they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight.
Is this gonna get them disqualified further? Fighting outside of the competition?
Oh shit, they're gonna have a wedding fight. Oh fuck!
This guy's garbage though.
I'm gonna do it. I thought he was gonna snatch her out of there.
Well, she's a badass. He probably couldn't do that if he tried. Well, actually, oh, after that, eating that fruit, maybe he could. I think he kind of can understand what that feels like, being that his grandfather was like a super badass martial artist dude.
Savage.
This won't go anywhere, because if it did, you would be a weak little bitch. Oh.
Good call.
But is this guy like a Charyeok dude? Is he gonna summon his own stand? Oh fuck! Yeah, yeah.
That thing is massive.
Got his own shit. Oh my god.
Killing a bunch of civilians while he's at it, great move.
Oh my fucking god.
Jesus.
Oh! Doesn't even flinch. What a badass.
Whoa.
Oh, that's so
That's awesome.
fucking
Holy
cool. That was fucking dope, the way she deflected that.
Holy
Damn.
shit.
That was so cool.
That was really cool. That was really cool.
You motherfucker. Dang. Oh, not over.
No.
Oh no, fuck. Fuck. Oh, now he's... Oh no. Those fuckers are gonna come in and he is just gonna wreck their shit. You... Who looks down on somebody for, like, working hard at a shitty job? Like, what? For being poor and, like, trying to get out of it. Like, oh my god. Was it the monitor? Or was it their spines? Oh my fucking god.
Oh, right in her...
In her wound. That was quick. Oh my god, he's just targeting that fucking wound. Oh my god! Dude! Bro. Dude. That's fucking weird. That was a fucking great episode. That was a fucking great episode. Oh. So far the animation's not letting down. I can see it slowing down, but it's not getting worse. Like during the flashback, the animation was like really low quality, like showing her uncle. But it wasn't like, oh, this is shit. It's like, okay, this isn't as good as like the normal show. It's like really flat and everything. But it's not bad, and that's a good decision to, like, if you're going to make, like, put less time into a scene to, like, keep the rest of the show consistent. Something like that is good, because it still looked good. They still were able to, like, pull off a style. Like, I'm just talking about the animation here before we get into the actual story. But, like, because a lot of my fears about the show are, like, it's going to get more rough over time. The thing is, they're choosing where to do that, and it's working, because that was a good choice. If they had to, like, cut down on something, but still make it look interesting, not necessarily, like, super high quality, but very interesting and well done, while still being, like, you know, they did a good job at picking and choosing, and I think it was the right decision, because the rest of the episode looked just fine. But it's not like the explosive shit that we saw in, like, episode 2, for example. Oh. But yeah, great episode. What are you thinking?
It was so good, but, like, so rough at the same time.
Rough how? Like... emotional?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. That was just really shitty. But I'm so glad... What I'm really glad about is that when they, like, crashed the wedding, she was the, like, they convinced her. They didn't just, like, ruin the wedding, and then later she was like, oh, that was probably for the best.
Exactly. It was her decision.
Yeah. Brought back, like, the memories of, like, her dad literally told her she can, like, she can do what she wants.
Yeah.
And, like...
And that's what the style is based on.
That's what it's all about, is, like, making your own future for yourself and, like, living your own life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really... I don't know, that's just a really nice thing.
I mean, I don't want to get too, like, political with this, like, because we try not to, like, get into this, but, like, female representation in anime in general has been, like, a topic we've talked about, like, because we react to Naruto, and obviously it's absolute dog shit in that show. But in this is a good example of, like, of a series taking a feminist approach and, like, shining light on, like, a strong, actually good, well-written female character who is, like, taking up a martial art, a traditionally, like, masculine thing. She's, like, the heiress to this very masculine form of art, and she is more, like, so willing to carry on that tradition and make her own decisions. And, yeah, like, the fact that she made the choice to do that is, like, a good thing. It's, like, it's feminism and, like, you know, female representation in a show done right without it, like, shoving it in your face. Like, it's actually good writing and good character decisions. It's not, like, a forced narrative because they're trying to, like, make a difference.
She's not, like, a strong woman because they needed a strong woman in there. She's a strong woman because her backstory and her character makes sense for her to be that way.
It's not forced.
Yeah.
It feels natural. It's not, like, they're not shoving shit in our face to, like, try and make social change. They're just showing that, like, the main female character could go down this, like, traditional female path of marrying this more successful guy, and she could possibly get what she wants. But that's bullshit, because that's not actually what she wants. So, if she can make her own decisions, then she'll actually get what she... Like, it's just so simple, and yeah, it's a little, like, it's not... people... If you're like really into, like, feminist stuff and, like, female representation, it's, like, not a one-to-one comparison with, like, what people are upset about as far as, like, feminism in the real world. Like, it's not fully equal opportunity as far as, like, just from that perspective. So, you know, it's a low resolution look at, like, the ability or the opportunity to make those decisions from that perspective. But they, as far as, like, representing this in a show, and this isn't, like, this is just a small thing I wanted to talk about. This isn't, like, we have a lot more to say about this episode. Just, they did it well. And it's just nice when you can see that. You could see that kind of positive message, but it's not forcing anything. It's just good character decisions.
Yeah.
And it's just good. That's all it is. And that's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just appreciate that, because I don't know. I just appreciate that. That's all. But yeah, this episode, her whole story was fucking great. All the stuff with...
I'm so glad that they're
dad.
giving us backstory in this show. It is, like... And they give it in, like, a substantial enough amount that they can still expand upon it. Like, they gave us a little bit of her backstory previously, and then now they, like, went into it a bit more, even more in depth with, like, what happened after her dad died, and how, like, her uncle, and that's, I guess, not her sister, that's her, cousin, but they're like sisters, they were raised as sisters.
Yeah. And I was still confused about that when, like, she was at the gravestone, they were like, oh, you're coming to live with us. I thought that he was just holding her sister.
Yeah.
No, that's his daughter.
Yeah.
And they became sisters because,
And also the sister character, even though she was, like, pretty much just in this episode, and, like, not, like, very much, we still got the whole, like, she was, like, the sort of, like, classic anime, like, ooh,
yeah,
we're gonna go shopping and we're gonna get you all this nice stuff, and then she, like, because to her, what's going on is, like, and, like, we saw it with the other girls in, like, the restaurant, we're, like, everyone's so jealous that she's marrying this guy, because this guy is just, like, everyone's dream guy, and everyone wants to marry him, and, like, obviously she, like, if you're not thinking of it, of course this must be so great for her. It's always been her dream, like every other girl's dream, to, like, marry this guy. So she's, like, all hyped up about it and so excited and, like, wow, everything's all ready for you. This must be so great. And then when she, like, finds out the truth, she's like, I can't believe I was so, like wrapped up in it that I didn't
realize
what was going on with someone that I live with and someone that I love and I'm so close to. Yeah. And I am, like, partially responsible for, like...
hyping it up a little bit.
Yeah, encouraging this.
And not, like,
and not realizing and
what
not,
she's going through.
And just basically ignoring how she was really feeling about it the whole time and not caring enough to dig a bit deeper into that.
Yeah.
So that's like a really interesting relationship as well, because the uncle is like, he could see it and he really didn't like that guy, but he didn't feel like it was his place to fully
to like interject himself into that because it's like her decision,
and it's like partially his fault. He feels
exactly like if he could have inherited it and like continued on and been strong enough to do it, then this wouldn't be all on her shoulders. So he doesn't, because he failed in that way, he doesn't have the right to like step in and say
and be like, oh, don't worry, I'll help you out and we'll do the school or whatever.
It's like, don't do that. Don't do this thing that is gonna save our family's school. Go do it the shitty way that I failed at. It's like, well, you don't have anything to, like, you can't say that because you failed. So like,
it's just a really interesting family dynamic.
Yeah.
There.
Well, it's just it's a cool situation. Like she's
obviously
like,
not a cool situation.
No,
but like
it's just interesting because, well, how's it not a cool situation?
Well, I mean, like, it's not cool that like her dad died and she's like feeling like she has to marry this other guy.
Well, that's not how I looked at it. If you look at it that way, then it's not cool. But if you look at the situation, is pretty cool if you consider that this little girl is the inheritor of a age-old sword style technique that is like she's the heiress to like a culture and a piece of history and this interesting one of a kind way of just moving your body and like the movements and like there's so much depth to that, like, and history, and it's so
and what
cool.
Was the exact
it's so fucking
wording
cool.
Of that thing?
If you look at it like, oh, she's being forced to marry this dude, then yeah, obviously it's not cool, but that's not the point. Like she learned at the end.
Where's the part where they talk about where it's like the cult and they're like talking about the sword?
Not that early. It happens at the wedding.
Holy sword that can rule God himself. Yeah, that seems like a pretty powerful technique.
You must obtain the holy sword that can rule God himself, as well as the hand that can draw out that power. So she's the hand. I'm guessing the sword is like a literal artifact, possibly.
But I would imagine that it's like basically useless in like the hands of someone who doesn't know how to wield it. Like, I can only assume that, like, if someone doesn't know the technique, when they're holding a literal wooden sword, it is just a literal wooden sword, and they can smack people around with it.
I wonder what these people fucking want.
Yeah, they're really...
I hope it's not something super cliche like we want the world, or something like that. Like, I hope that there's some sort of interesting shit behind it. I really hope that it's not just like, we must topple God because... we want to, or something. I really hope that I'm excited to see that is what's beneath this, because this is super fucking crazy. It seems like there's multiple layers. It seems like they have multiple plots to like get what they want, but I don't understand what that is. Mm-hmm. I
also really like the introduction of this, like, cult or whatever it is, because then it's like, at the beginning we were like, oh, it's just, like, the political thing and, like, the high school fighting thing.
Yeah.
And, like, how those are intermixed. And then it's like, no, there's, like, political stuff, there's, like, the
You're
main...
saying, like, every 5 seconds again.
There's the political plot, there's the three main characters doing their God of Highschool tournament, and then on, like... the side that's also intermixed with those two, there's this legitimate cult in this, like, crazy place with all these, like, robes and hoods and getting orders to go and marry someone to get their power. Like, there's just...
Seems like some Scientology type shit where they're, like, creeping around in the background and, like, I don't know. It seems like they're puppeting everything. Like they want to be like the shadow government that is behind everything. I don't know. It's hard to say. But it also seems kind of funny. I don't know if it's connected, but what if they were just like the shadow government that was trying to weasel their way in and get behind and corrupt politicians and all this shit, and then a couple years down the line into their plan, they're just like, oh, fuck, what is this? The world isn't focused on politics. Nobody cares about the government anymore. It's all about this high school fighting competition. What the fuck? What are we supposed to do with this? Like, we were hoping to grab people's attention, but actually, maybe they did that. Maybe they created the God of High School competition to grab people's attention and steer it away from what actually matters. Maybe this is all bullshit and a way for them to find like competent soldiers or something.
Also, by the way, I don't know if you saw, but this isn't the end of the tournament that they're fighting for. They're talking about now. Yeah, you didn't see. I talked to people in the comments about that last week. If everyone cleared that up. And I realized while I was editing last week's episode that you were right, that it was the preliminaries. Yeah. I loved... Okay, that was so cool when he had a legit sword and he just cut her. And then she, like, is so skilled at sword handling that she could just... like, glide her hand over the sword and just, like, get him, you know?
What did she do? She, like, and then, like, flipped it around and then, like, went up like that or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember. That was fucking so cool. She, like, moved it around and, like...
Yeah, without getting a single cut on her arms, by the way.
Yeah.
She, like, took that first hit so that she would be in range to do that move. That was so cool. That was
such a badass sequence.
And another thing that we noticed about that is his, like, giant... stand, I guess we could call it.
It's Charyeok.
Charyeok. Is that, like, what you call, like, the power, or is that what you call those, like, things?
We don't know. We've only heard the phrase Charyeok referring to, I think, like, the martial art. I think this is what I'm thinking. That's referring to, like, the martial art that allows them to, like, handle the energy or the technique involved with manifesting that, because they were talking about fucking Kong. And they were talking about that he was too weak to use it, and he like sent a bunch of energy or like a blast of it.
Yeah,
but it didn't manifest anything.
It into a thing.
Yeah, so I think maybe they have a different name, but we haven't heard it yet, or it's just all called Charyeok.
Yeah. So anyway, we found out that once he was knocked out, that disappeared, which is good to know for future reference that. You probably shouldn't waste your time or energy fighting the Charyeok.
Well, thing is, I don't know if it's actually there. Like, if it's just a visual
representation.
Because
maybe.
When he sliced her, the giant thing didn't slice her. The sword he was holding sliced her, and he was in like the same stance as like that giant fucking the shogun. No, that's not it. It's the weird samurai creature. Yeah. So he sliced her. This giant fucking ghost sword didn't slice her. But then again, the giant thing's swords was slicing like the building up and in half and
and
shit.
In the previous fight with that like clown thing,
it was like fucking.
That was up. Like. That thing had a weapon, but the guy didn't have a weapon.
And they're clearly seeing it. Like,
everyone's like, holy shit, and they're like taking out their phones and like...
Wait, did everyone see it, or did just martial artists see it? Because that was the thing we were talking about last time. It's like, did the audience see it? We didn't actually see the audience's reaction to it.
Well, some guy had out his
We saw
phone.
Daewi's and Mira's reaction to it. We didn't actually see anyone reacting to the Grim Reaper clown thing. They're freaking out about the building breaking. I don't think we even saw anyone else see this thing. Yes, we can watch it. Okay, no, everyone's looking up at it.
Yeah, and they're taking pictures on their phones.
Yeah, okay, everyone is looking up at it. Everyone can see it. Okay, cool. Yeah, never mind. Okay, so maybe it is actually there, but what confused me was when he was there with like holding a sword, and it must be just me, but he was holding the sword and he was standing the exact same way that they were. That wouldn't have been anything. That would have been just fine. Like, maybe they're just standing the same way. But then he sliced, and it sliced, and then it looked like his sword connected with Mira. And he obviously also has a sword and this thing, so it could be both.
Yeah.
But
and,
like,
yeah.
I was just confused because I saw that and then I saw him swing and I was like, oh, so is he just like sending out sword swipe blast thing like how Mira did last episode?
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm sure that's something we'll learn more about as it goes on, and I don't mind being in the dark about that.
I'm just trying to figure it out based on what we're seeing, and like, it wasn't even conflicting information. I was just interpreting it in a different way, I guess. So it looks like there is an actual stand creature there, and he can use his sword, similar to how people in JoJo can both use their stand and fight as people. So, which obviously makes sense. Just because you manifest this thing doesn't mean you can't just fucking punch a dude. But yeah, so that's okay. So that's a little bit more clear now that we looked back at that. But yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, at the very end, that the friend dies, and then he just goes on like a semi-murderous rampage.
Just completely says fuck it. Well, like, because his whole reason for fighting is gone, and his whole reason for working so hard is gone. He was working like fucking 20 jobs and doing this and training for this competition, all to save his friend, and then it was just pointless because his friend died. So like, what the fuck is the point? Because he wasn't doing this for himself, he was doing this to help his friend.
Yeah.
So like, who fucking cares about these other friendships and like all this shit I was working towards?
And then also,
and, like,
he was at the wedding with Mira instead of by his friend's side when he died.
Oh, true. I didn't think of that.
I thought of that, and I was like, oh my god, he's really laying into her, and I was like, is that just because he's broken up, or I mean, maybe it's just because of the situation and it's not personal, or maybe it is a little bit personal.
Because you dragged me away from what I actually care about to go fuck around with your business, like
which would have been fine.
I've been hanging out with you, walking around town, helping you look for your fucking sword. And then my friend just died while I wasn't there. Yeah, that might actually make sense, but
I'm unsure of whether that's partially the cause, but I would imagine if the thing that you're doing to help your friend is the one thing that keeps you from actually being there for him when he needed you the most, that's really messed up.
Yeah.
It's really tragic.
And the fact, like, it might just be he's in a blind rage, but the fact that makes me think that it's a little bit personal is that he was attacking her weak spot.
And
constantly.
They had to step in and stop him because she was already done, a few hits ago, and he kept hitting.
But he was, he was trying to cause the most pain.
Yeah.
Is what it was. It seemed like he was hitting the gash in her fucking stomach over and over again, kicking it or punching it, then kicking it, then punching
really
it.
dirty there.
Which in a real fight, that's like, at least in the UFC, that's super common to like, if you know somebody's got a shoulder, if you know somebody's got a shoulder injury, you just fucking hammer that shoulder until it's fucked.
That's obviously the smart thing to do, but I would assume Mira going into that was like, we're friends, so we're gonna have an actual fight based on skills and not based on the fact that I got sliced open yesterday.
Yeah. You really want to beat me based on a prior injury? Like...
that's just... Of course, you would expect that out of someone who you didn't know, who was just a scumbag in general. You wouldn't expect that out of someone who's your friend, first of all, and second of all, up until this point, seemed to be, honorable or, respectful of other people's skills, you know?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, there seems to be that distinction. Because, it's also kind of funny, because in real life, it really is, not even a scummy thing to do that. Yeah. It's totally understood. It's part of the rules that, if you, if you have some sort of prior injury, if you had, surgery on your knee, 6 months before, the fight, and that's, public knowledge, that the other fighter will hammer at that fucking knee until it cracks and, snaps in half, and you're fucked. It's totally on the table, full-on rule. It's not against the rules to do that, and it's not against, it's not even a taboo to, take advantage of that in a real, professional fight. Fighters talk about that all the time. And, hitting people while they're down, if the ref is, doesn't call it early enough, and the guy's down, you can get one hit, you get as many hits as you can to keep them down, because if they come back up, they'll fuck you up. It seems like in the show that would be seen as a dishonorable thing, and it is anime. It's not obviously meant to emulate real fighting, obviously. like to a T, but it's just funny because they draw on mixed martial arts and real forms of martial arts and professional fighting seemingly very directly. Mm-hmm. So it's just funny that they have that kind of taboo when in real life it's kind of accepted.
Yeah, and it's, I guess what makes it significant in this show specifically is because so far only the, like, bad guys, they are actually bad guys, just the opponents of the main characters have been fighting dirty.
Yeah.
And that has been a real, like, oh, that's why we don't like these guys, because they're fighting like that, not because we just don't.
Well, and it's understandable, like, it is kind of, if you think about it morally, it's kind of fucked up to hit somebody while they're down. It's a really basic concept. Yeah. It's just when you're talking about real professional fights where money's on the line, people usually, there's a different set of standards. Mm-hmm. There's a different moral standard on what's acceptable. But obviously, this isn't the fucking UFC, this is an anime. So, I'm just saying.
They're all literally high schoolers.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because they make those connections to real martial arts. That's the only reason why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, I actually really like that, how it's like, all the bad guys are fighting dirty and pulling these, like, shady moves.
But then again, the real bad guys, like, or bad guys, the cultist people and all the administrators, all the people who use Charyeok, they're so quick to stop shit when it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
Like, they're so quick to, like, okay, don't stop fucking around, and, like, you know, oh yeah, we'll make him fight one of our guys, and then we'll see how that goes, and then he'll just be out, and that's fine. And then we don't have to, like, disqualify him and lose the steam for the competition. Or we'll, like, see if he has, like, some potential for this or that. So, yeah. It goes a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah. I just like it. There's very interesting dynamics going on, and at the very end, Jin Mori was just, like, looking at him down the hallway, like, I'm probably gonna have to fight this fucking guy who I thought was my friend.
Yeah.
And I just saw, like, just go crazy on our other friend, who I thought he was also cared about. And he's just, like, he just seemed in that moment in the hallway, like, I don't even know what to think at this point, because I didn't want to have that kind of fight with you. He really likes fighting, and he really wants to fight his friends, but not like that. Like, not like this. Pokemon were meant to fight. Not like this.
Yeah. Mori is, like, the more I watch, so he has very similar hair to Goku, but there's clearly some inspiration from Goku, which isn't surprising. Goku is, like, the godfather fucking main character of all shonen. But, like, he eats all the time. Like, that's a common meme with Goku, is he's always fucking racking up the bill. Classic shonen thing as well.
Naruto as well.
Naruto having 20 bowls of ramen. But, like, they literally just fucking eat. They eat all the time because their metabolism's so high, because their bodies are so efficient. But that's an interesting connection. His hair is very similar. His, like, just the way he acts and talks is very similar. Like, it's not a rip-off. But there's very clear and obvious inspiration there. I'm sure there's something different about him that sets him apart. And his grandfather, Goku, was found by an old man named Gohan, who he later named his son. For all you people who don't know Dragon Ball lore, I'm explaining this because Lindsay doesn't know. Goku was found when he was a baby by his grandfather, because he was an alien and he fell to Earth, and hit his head. He was sent there as a baby to destroy the planet, like very Superman-esque. Hit his head. He was found by his grandpa, hit his head, and then he forgot that he was supposed to destroy the world. So then he became, like, a blank slate, and then Gohan trained him in martial arts from the time he was, like, 1. And he became a master and, like, super strong because he's an alien and all this shit. He has a tail. But very similar relationship. In the case of Goku, what happened was Goku. So Saiyans, when they look at this, is important because I'm going to relate this back to God of Highschool. Saiyans have a tail because when they look at a moon, it doesn't have to be Earth's moon, obviously, because they're aliens, but a moon, and they get the light reflected off of a moon, it turns them into a great ape, and they turn into a giant monkey, and they ravage around and fuck shit up. And the plan was to send babies everywhere, and they would just destroy the planets, and then they would track the locations of the little escape pods, and then they would go get the planet up for sale, and then sell the planet to somebody. That's all Dragon Ball lore. Anyway, what matters there is that when Goku's grandpa died, he died because Goku killed him as a great ape. So if there's clear inspiration with Jin Mori to be like obviously related to Goku in the way that he is eating all the fucking time, the way he acts, the way he cares about like fighting for the sake of fighting and getting stronger and facing stronger opponents, and that's what he fucking lives for. He was found by his grandpa. His grandpa was like this crazy martial arts master who like taught him everything and left him at a young age. Possibly died. Seems to have connections to this fucking cult in some way. Maybe he was a foe of theirs or a former member. Maybe Jin Mori has some sort of like latent ability where he goes fucking crazy and possibly killed his grandfather. If this parallel runs as deep as I think it does. Maybe there's something to that. Or maybe he has some sort of like parallel to the great ape form that Goku had. That's just a guess of mine. That's a prediction. So all that was actually related to God of Highschool. That's my prediction of what might happen with Jin Mori in the future.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
I don't know either.
Could, maybe
That's my guess.
Can use Charyeok or whatever. And
I don't know either. That was my guess.
I know. I'm just saying that would probably be like the parallel you were talking about there, like having an unchecked moment of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if he has that kind of like potential and they recognize that in him because he's like, you know, his grandfather was
something. We don't know. We don't know too many details about the grandfather yet.
We saw them look at a sheet that was like, Jin. Wait, like blah, like other Korean name Jin, like that Jin. Oh shit, like he's related to this guy. That they had that Park Mujin was looking at a sheet and like related it to him.
I remember.
Okay,
that.
yeah, because obviously we saw him at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Saying goodbye to him or whatever, and it was like the rain. It was like the first shot of the show when Mori was like a little kid. Anyway, so obviously there's a connection there. I'm just saying. I think that there might be some sort of parallel. Maybe it is just he has like the ability to use Charyeok in a way that other people don't, or maybe he is like, because his eyes are obviously different than everyone else. That's like, nobody else has fucking eyes like that.
Yeah, actually.
Like, that's a very significant thing, a design choice. Nobody else looks like that.
I want to look at this giant creature here for a second.
And by the way, Park Mujin, he has a cross on his hand, and he fucking, when he used his Charyeok to like crush that island, it was the same like cross, and it was the cross that, and like, I don't know if Mori has like a cross in his eyes or if that's like a radiance or something, but like that would just be like a cool design thing because it is kind of interesting and striking that he has those eyes, but maybe it's more significant than that. Maybe it has some relation to that because literally nobody else has that, and he has these. He literally walks around with fucking an eye mask. Probably because he sleeps all the time when he has his off time, because all he hears about is fighting. I don't know. I'm spitballing here, but I think that there is something to that he has like some sort of latent shit going on. It's kind of obvious. It's been made obvious that there's something more to him in regards to this cult and like his lineage and stuff like that. But to the degree that is, I think that maybe, I don't know, that has something to do with what happened to his grandfather. I don't know. I'm not fully sold on that, but if this parallel with Goku runs deeper, then that's my prediction. That there's something to do with that. I don't know how it all fits together, but I'm working through it. Anything else you want to say before we get going? Do we want to talk a little bit more about...
I wanted to check one...
I guess we talked about Mira's whole story and everything.
...thing on the last episode. How do I go back? What were you thinking about? Yeah, see, he has like a similar like
Oh, yeah,
thing.
I noticed that last time, but I forgot about it when we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, see?
I know,
see?
that's why I was trying to look at the one from this episode. We couldn't see, but it did have yellow eyes.
Yeah.
But we didn't see, like, a detail. So, yeah, that's an interesting thing. I wonder what that's all about. It's interesting. It's like it's a bit early to be speculating on stuff that might not even happen this season.
Oh, the fucking when he was. Oh my god, I forgot about this. When he ate that fruit, he fell asleep and had that dream where he was like in front of the cult. Do you not remember that?
Oh, I guess maybe I forgot that.
You forgot about that? I think it was either. Did he get the fruit this episode? Episode 3? Let's look back at this.
Maybe the fruit was that. Oh yeah.
I think it was this episode.
Yeah, it might be at the beginning of the episode, though.
Here it is, right here. Okay. Is there a way to turn down... No, there's not. Playback speed. Okay. So there's like some torn parchment, it looks like.
Oh no, it's like a pictures.
That's him.
If you go back to the last one, it was like a building. See,
it's on a mountain. It's like a castle or a temple.
Yeah, now we're on episode 3, by the way.
This is a temple. This is a temple on a mountain. Yeah, we're looking at episode 3, the dream sequence. No spoilers in the comments.
Yeah, we're going to be careful about reading comments for this show because we're actually getting really into it, and we do not want to be spoiled.
Yeah, so that's him. And he's just sitting there. He's looking like fucking Joffrey over here, like sitting on this throne, looking a little bit unhappy. He's got a frowny face. And there's all these cultists, and then he's up there on the throne.
Mm-hmm. And they all have their hoods off for some reason.
Yes. Ooh, and it looks like, what the fuck are these?
Is that?
That's him.
That's him, yeah. What are all of those? And he has like a staff.
Yes. And these maybe are other Charyeok users.
That's what I was thinking.
Or other gods.
Mm.
If we're in like a temple. It looked like a Buddhist temple. That's him. That's his eyes. They look like they're awakened or something. Like they're changed color. They're like the opposite. Like the inside is like this yellowish, green, slightly green tinted yellow in his eyes, and now it's like flipped to like a blue. And there's like a circle in the middle, and then it goes in, and then we see, what is this? That's like a skull or like a creature of some sort.
Maybe that's like the Charyeok inside of him.
Hang on, I'm gonna play it all through, and then we'll go through. Step by step here. Oh, was that the sword? Was that I think that thing like swiped down with a sword like straight on. Hang on, let's watch it again. Because they were talking about like the sword that can
and then it's
fuck up God.
Well, I guess that would be Mira's sword.
Maybe Mira isn't the only person who can wield it.
Yeah.
He looks like the leader of some sort. It looks like he's doing something. Like he has like some sort of great. Like he's challenging.
And then it's like a beast like.
With like a tail.
Dragon-esque creature.
And then it goes back to him, and the circle's in his eye again. But then he wakes up. Was that the entire flashback? I thought I remembered seeing something else. Was there another flashback like that?
I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong.
Or did they change it? Because I feel like when it was all blue like that, I feel like when we first watched it, like we could see him with like the staff in like being that leader, like in that ceremonial garb, like in the blue stuff. Right? I'm like not really.
I mean,
I swear I remember that. I'm tempted to like go back in our recording of that episode.
Go ahead. I don't.
Okay, this is going to be a long one.
Straight up went and changed.
They might have. They do that for Blu-rays. And this is released on Crunchyroll. They do that for Blu-rays. They redo the animation before a home release. So maybe they changed it because maybe it it revealed too much. Hang on. God of Highschool, episode 3. See here. Maybe when he got... Oh!
That was the fruit section.
He also... Park Mujin has, like, the same beads around his neck that Jin had on his wrist. And I've noticed a lot of Chinese symbolism. Wait, that was when I went back when we were watching. I've noticed a lot of Chinese symbolism. In the first episode, Mujin was standing in front of, like, a mural of, like, the 4-inch... I don't know... my fucking Chinese lore is all fucked, because I don't know it as well. But there's, like, different beasts that represent the different, like, directions, like north, south, east, west. I forget. I think north is like a dragon, south is like a turtle or something, and then there's like I forget. He was standing in front of this mural that had all of those, like, figures, and it's specifically in Chinese culture. Like, it's not Japanese, it's not Korean, as far as I'm aware. I wish I knew more about this shit. So far, it's the same. Maybe not. Maybe I misremembered
you just,
it.
like, mixed them
Maybe
up.
I did. Anyway, that was him standing there. So, I feel like it might be a spoiler if I say this. Maybe not.
But you don't know because it's a prediction and you might be completely wrong.
But I feel like I might be completely wrong, but I don't want to, like, color your... Nah, fuck it, I'll say it. So, Goku was inspired by a character from a Chinese story called Journey to the West, that has since inspired many characters in anime as time has gone on. It even inspired, we just watched the fight between the third Hokage and Orochimaru. Haven't finished that fight yet, but we're still watching through those episodes. But fucking Monkey King Enma, his staff, that like he's also inspired by Sun Wukong is the character that inspired Goku and many other characters. But he's basically like a Monkey King person. I wish, again, this is like, I know the basis of it because I know how it relates to Dragon Ball, but I don't know the full extent of the story or what kind of a person he is. I think he's like a trickster of some sort, but he's like very powerful. But he looks like fucking Mori does in this. Like, he has the staff. I can look up a picture. Sun Wukong. There's like a bunch of different depictions, but he has those beads, like the same, and he has the staff. He's like a monkey man, basically.
Interesting.
Very prominent Chinese character, and there seems to be a lot of Chinese inspiration here. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what to make of all that though. Like, I notice all those connections, but I don't know what the fuck they build up to. Because those are clear, I'm not making that up that he looks like that. Because, like, he does look like that. There was that mural. I can probably find it a lot faster because we have the recordings still. I forget if it was episode 1 or 2, but we have it somewhere here.
This is like a
deep dive.
A deep dive of this episode.
Right here. Wait, fuck. No, what? What just happened? I just had it, and then it went away. Yeah, see, there's the turtle, there's the dragon, and then there's the monkey. Fucking, that's Sun Wukong, I'm pretty sure. And then to the east is that fucking wolf.
It's like a fox.
Or a fox. Nine-tailed fox. Yeah, so I noticed these connections. I didn't know that the West... Oh, Journey to the West. I'm so ignorant on all this shit. I really wish I knew more because there's these connections are not fucking random. Like, they're obviously being made. Park Mujin standing in front of this fucking mural. Is that Buddha? And then all of the, like, the different directions. Journey to the West. Sun Wukong must be the god of the West. So, yeah. So I wonder what the fuck that means for Mori. And what that actually means. Is he Sun Wukong? Is he... like a vessel for it, or is he like, was he like found by his grandfather similar to Goku and was trained martial arts and like maybe he forgot, like he hit his head in a similar way and forgot what he actually is, but still has all this latent ability, and that's why he survived like the fruit thing. Park Mujin clearly knows some shit about this because he's involved with the cult, and he is looking at this fucking mural. And maybe he knows some of the shit. Maybe, like, people know that he found like maybe because if his grandfather was like a part of this cult or involved with it, they might have found out that he found his heir or son, like the reincarnation of Sun Wukong or whatever.
You know what I'm wondering is like, okay, so there's like 4.
I'm totally spitballing. I have no fucking idea.
This is where like we're off. For anyone who's still here, we're like off on a crazy thing.
And if you guys are pissed that we're like, no, obviously that's not the case. You forgot about this detail. We're literally like, we don't fucking know anything. We're literally just talking about the show. We're not like we're not saying that this is for sure the thing. We're having fun, and we're like... Don't take this too seriously, like we're making hard and fast predictions, and this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen. I'm just noticing these connections, and we're just, like, talking about what we think might happen, or what we're noticing about the show. Mm-hmm. Anyway, you were saying.
Well, say he's, like, the, like, west.
Yeah.
And then, like, what if they need, like, north, south, east, and west for, like, some sort of thing? They need, like...
to merge them?
Like, the person to, like, maybe... Like, they want the sword to... What was the word? Like, rule over God or defeat God or something like that. What if it's, like, some sort of thing that, like, if they can get all these things... Cause they're obviously, like, looking for something. They're like, we need this sword and the person who can wield it. But I doubt that's the only piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Going into their grand scheme to maybe overthrow God or do so. Maybe they're holding the God of Highschool because they're finding out who. They're like, it's like this is like way off.
Yeah.
Probably, but like. They're holding this tournament
to draw
out these talented people who are actually the people who possess the skills needed to do whatever they're trying to do. I'm not necessarily going to speculate on what it is they're trying to do, but
maybe that's it.
If Park Mujin is looking and he sees something in Mori and he's like, you know what, I'm going to test this kid a little bit further and give him this fruit.
Yeah.
Just to see.
If he survives,
then I mean, maybe we're onto something here. And then the cult is all like, oh, we need this sword and this girl because they already can see that she's the one who can wield this sword.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe she's like one of the other directions or like if that's even playing into it at all or if we're just... But Carson's right, I think... It doesn't seem random to have this, like, very clear depiction of exactly what you were talking about previously.
Mm-hmm.
And how that, how that relates into the story, whether it's just a loose inspiration and they decide to do this mural just as, like...
But it seems
it seems like maybe they're going to take it further, which would be cool. I don't know pretty much anything about it.
The fact that he's standing... directly in line with Buddha in the center. Is that Buddha? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not even sure if like Sun Wukong is like Buddhist religion related. I'm so ignorant on this shit. I just know about Sun Wukong because I know about Dragon Ball. That's it. And like other inspirations here and there.
He's like flying around on a little cloud.
Yeah, so Goku also has the flying Nimbus. He flies around on a golden little cloud. So yeah, he has the cloud as well. But yeah, so if Mori is Sun Wukong, who's the Dragon of the North and all these other characters?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And does Park want to gather them to, like, rise himself up
or
to be...
Or is he, like, one of them and he needs, like, the other 3?
Possibly. Maybe he's the turtle.
And then maybe, maybe he's the dragon or, like, whatever. Maybe he's something and he needs the other 3 and maybe those other 3 are our 3 main characters or something like that. Or at least one of them, or, you know, that's sort of a...
I'm thinking that we haven't met the others yet.
Maybe.
If Jin is Sun Wukong, or has relation to that, if he's like that...
The equivalent
of this character in this mural, maybe it's more symbolic. If he is that, then I don't think that we've met the other people yet. I genuinely don't. I think that we'll meet them at some point soon, maybe at the end of the tournament or
at the nationals or whatever.
Yeah, like the actual tournament.
Or maybe I don't know how long running this series is. Maybe they won't find them until the next God of Highschool tournament, where none of our characters are even competing anymore, and it's gotten larger than that or something. We don't know what happens in the story or how long it is or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I'm much more interested in a story that has kind of like deep lore like
Yeah.
this, whether it's just based off of something else or whether someone like they took something and then like reworked it in a way that would fit this world and
Yeah.
this story.
I'm down with it. That's way more interesting than like,
super
ooh,
cool.
we're cutting your funding, Park Mujin. Let me tell when the press gets a handle on this situation, they're like all that shit like that. This is way more cool and interesting and clearly more well thought out than just like random political plot or random like shadow government fucking cultists. Like this is the fact that it's seated in this like real life inspiration actually gives it some like weight to it. I'm a big fan of that. I've talked about that before. How like when like I talk about in our Black Clover openings, the fact that like in Black Clover it's like an anime and it's like a shonen battle series, but it's like using this Western mages and like magic and like a clearly cross-cultural incorporation of these different aesthetics and ideas, like the fact that they all fly on brooms, the fact they fly on brooms, and that's like clear, and the fact that some of them use wands or have books, that's a clear component of Black Clover. The fact they cast spells from books, that's like important because it keeps it seated in this other culture and like this it gives it a weight to it that you can't get by just like making up whatever the fuck you want. Like
yeah. If to do something from literally nothing, if you were trying to do something with no inspiration, no ties to anything in the real world, you'd have a very hard time, and you would have to spend
a lot
years
explaining everything.
Just to build up a world. You'd have to like go through if you wanted it to be good and make sense, you'd have to go through so many layers of just figuring out how you'd want this world to work and what are the gods in this world, and they can't be based off of anything else, and what do people do in this world, what are their jobs, what is like the style.
It takes a long time to lay that groundwork.
But if people take something else that's pre-established, and I mean maybe not for us because we live in Canada, we're not, I mean Carson's only familiar with this story or like idea kind of that's already there. Carson's only familiar with that because he was interested in Dragon Ball. But I imagine if you live somewhere where you maybe heard about this, it would be similar to like a show based on like Christianity or something that's more popular over here, where the like foundation is already like in your mind.
Yeah.
And
it's a convention.
Yeah, it's a convention, but like done in a different way, so you might not notice it if you're watching casually, or you might get even farther into it because there's like connections to be made, and how are they going to change things? How are they going to keep things the same?
Yeah, and that's when it gets
how are they going to use it to further the plot?
Yeah.
Because they can't just tell the same story. They're going to put a new spin on it, and that's like super interesting.
That's what makes it interesting, and that's why people are that's why there's a community of people who sort of not discredit I guess it's a common critique, or a relatively common critique of My Hero Academia, because it does tell kind of the same story. It does do different things with it, and it shows it in a different way, and it does it in a cleaner way than like something like Naruto or Bleach or whatever tells that similar story. So it has its own merit, but that's a common for all shonen. That's a very common critique, is that it's telling the same story in multiple ways. What separates a story from drawing on conventions versus using tropes is what they do with these associations that people have in their mind of all this like Chinese lore or Christianity, like the idea of the Messiah and the, you know, whatever, everything, what makes a hero, all that shit, and like slaying the dragon, like super basic hero's journey type shit. What separates you from being a hack and doing something interesting versus using tropes and drawing upon conventions is that you do something with the thing you're drawing upon and make it your own in some way. That's what makes it interesting, and that's what I'm excited for them to do.
And we've been talking about this because we're watching Demon Slayer right now.
Yes.
And we literally, the one that we just recorded, it won't be out for another week because of Patreon, but we literally had a kind of a similar discussion actually of like how they're taking the most like cookie cutter journey, but doing it in a way that is so much higher quality and so much more interesting than almost everything else that's similar to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just very refreshing to see the same story, like, because you could watch I've only seen Naruto, but, like, you could watch, like, Naruto, Bleach, whatever, all of those stories that are sort of similar, just long-running shonen series. I'm not claiming that they're all the same, they're obviously all different, but it's a similar story.
Yeah.
They're telling a similar story. Harry Potter, a similar story. Like, Lord of the Rings, once again, kind of a similar story. Like, it's all this journey and overcoming stuff and building relationships. Star Wars is the perfect example. It's all the same thing, but told different ways.
Yeah.
But some series are able to really stand out from the crowd with the way that they do it and the way that they explore certain elements of it.
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting to see.
And I think we both hope that this is one of those shows. These are all predictions. These are all, we just made these connections. This obviously isn't a full-on, like, this is going to happen. This is just us discussing. It would be so cool
if it happened, though.
This is just us discussing the possibilities and the different connections that we're noticing. Mm-hmm. So if you guys liked our discussion for this episode, hope you stick around. Hope you subscribe to the channel.
If you're still here by the end of this crazy discussion,
then you're gonna like what we have to offer. And if you watch Tower of God, we had very similar discussions throughout the series of this type of thing. But yeah, so far, episode, like, quick comparison before we go. I'm liking this way more than I was liking Tower of God, like, early on. I'm at this point, I'm kind of attached to Tower of God because I feel like I've gone on that journey for those episodes, and we've kind of like immersed ourselves haphazardly in that sort of story. And obviously we're only comparing this because the fan bases are, like, there's a big crossover.
And it was the last, like, seasonal show
that was based on a manhwa. Yeah. So, yeah, but obviously they're not completely different. They're similar in a lot of ways, but they the way they're presenting it is obviously extremely different. And but, like, so far, this far into Tower of God, I was not this, like, into trying to figure out the lore and, like, trying to make these connections and all this stuff.
With that show, there's too many questions that were unanswered. They didn't give us anything to grasp onto.
Yeah.
With this show, because we're so, like, you can probably tell, we're so excited to make predictions for it because we feel like even if we're wrong, that's also cool.
Yeah.
But if we're right, well, that they laid that work so intertwined with the story that, like, it's just really cool. Mm-hmm. And even if they're wrong, I would like to see how they twist it and how they go a different route or do something different, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alrighty. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys subscribe and stick around for next week's Tower of God of High School reaction and review. Hope you guys enjoyed our review. And yeah, stick around. Especially leave a like. It really helps us out when you guys like our videos, especially these weekly ones. So if you liked it, leave a like. And yeah. Hope you stick around. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye. And thank you so much to all of our patrons, especially those in the Student Council. Zenge,
Rising 80,
John Ortega,
Nicholas Teo,
Aurora,
Iwan Pulgar,
Lewis,
Yeet,
Gentleman,
Christian Ave,
Mozart Waddle,
Nelson Barbosa,
Jan Carlisle Vincent,
Kage Uzumaki,
Xavier Rhodes,
Chao Lao,
Brian,
Haruto Yuzuki,
Handicap Bankai. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one.